you've been following my advice up to this point, you've been trying to limit the number of social channels that you're trying to access to a maximum of 3, which is what I always say, access 2 or 3, that's it. Which as a business has probably left you trying to decide, should I go with Instagram or should I go with LinkedIn? Both of these systems can be hugely valuable to your business. They both have an awesome market for you to access. So today I'm gonna help you figure out exactly which one of these to target by walking you through what your target is by looking at these platforms individually and figuring out how they might work best for you. My name's Trent Kennelly, I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel, I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment and let me know which of these platforms you prefer, which one you have a bigger following on, which one you think you've been more successful at. Whatever your opinion is, I would love to know. Dig down, let me know, and let's get started. Before we jump in, I want to do a little bit of setup here. I want to be very clear. We are not talking about ads. Ads are a great marketing channel. You should be running them, but the more sales that you can make through organic traffic, the better. That's because the bigger an organic profile is, the more likely you're going to be able to build trust with people, and the more likely you're going to be able to get sales without having to pay for them. So it takes time to build this, obviously, but the benefit here is that where an ad needs to establish why a viewer should care, an organic traffic source does not need to work as hard to do that because there's already a personality built behind it and there's already trust that's built behind it as well. So we're going to limit this conversation here to understanding which of these two platforms makes the most sense from an organic perspective. The first question we need to answer here is, who is your target? So I'm going to kind of assume that you already have an ideal client profile or ideal customer avatar. If you don't, you can check out this video for more information on that. But you need to understand who your customer is and what they're doing and how you're supposed to target them, because that's going to really inform a lot of this. So is it a company that you're targeting, aka are you going B2B, or are you going more for individuals? Companies are visible on both platforms, but identifying the players is much easier on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for the CFO of the Hong Kong branch, then it's much easier to figure that out on LinkedIn than it would be on Instagram, because it's as simple as going to the LinkedIn company page and just looking through the employees list to find who you're looking for. Add to this that if you pay $1,000 a year, not that expensive, but also kind of expensive, LinkedIn Sales Navigator will allow you to be really, really detailed on those filtered searches and find the people you're looking for super fast. Instagram is more of a billboard in this sense. So unless the brand is a person like Casey Neistat or Peter McKinnon, it's very hard to clearly identify them using Instagram. You can, of course, always build content that's going to attract them, which you should be doing anyway, but it's just harder to specifically identify the person when you're looking at companies on Instagram, okay? But the most important who question here is, how old is your target? The demographic for LinkedIn is much older than the demographic for Instagram. So if you clearly know that your target is younger, Instagram might be the ticket for you. Next question, how do users interact? So Instagram is a much more fast-paced and surface-level platform than LinkedIn is. The content needs to be constantly fresh. Nothing old will ever continue to thrive unless you're reposting it or something, but that isn't really an old piece of content thriving. That's a new piece of content that just happens to be something you posted before. It doesn't matter how many comments, how many likes, how many saves, and how many shares. It doesn't matter. It's gonna die pretty quickly in comparison to LinkedIn, which is gonna have a longer life for things. So if your audience is fast-paced and they have a short attention span, Instagram's the place to go. If your audience is into longer, deeper discussions, LinkedIn is something to look at for you. Next, what are you selling? So Instagram is a very anything goes sort of a community. You can sell shoes, you can sell software, whatever you want, nobody cares, nobody's gonna blink or complain unless your marketing is very annoying, okay? And you're gonna know that in your back-end analytics anyway. So if you're selling something more professional in nature, LinkedIn is gonna probably be a better bet because people aren't gonna blink at it. They're going to see it as part of their business, part of the professional network that they're trying to build on LinkedIn, and it's a better way to go for there. But if you're trying to sell shoes on LinkedIn, it's not really a very good fit. Next is your branding. So are you self-branding? Maybe as a marketing expert or something. Me. If so, you could probably go with either of these two, but just consider exactly what you're branding as and who you're targeting, okay? So if you're branding yourself as an influencer and that's just what you do, then LinkedIn is not the place for you, because LinkedIn is all about growth and development, and that's really where the majority of the conversations and the majority of your brand's growth will be. If you're into that sort of stuff, then LinkedIn is the place to go. Either way, you're able to make a personal connection that's all to the good for either of these platforms, and you can do it on either one. It's just that Instagram, again, going back to that, who your target is and what kind of content they like, is a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more surface level, and a little bit more anything goes, and LinkedIn is a little bit more strict in that way. If you're branding as a company, LinkedIn is probably going to be advantageous here because it's broken into two parts. There's a company and a personal profile for your LinkedIn page. This allows your company to make posts and interact separately from you as the individual. Your company kind of gets its own standalone personality, and even though it doesn't get a whole lot of reach in comparison to those personal profiles, it does add legitimacy as a standalone business, not just a side hustle, and it does allow you to have different conversations with different people than you would on a personal profile. Instagram does not have that kind of flexibility. You're either a business or you're a brand or you're some weird mix of the two, but either way, you're one profile and it's all about how you're marketing that profile. You can have a business profile and a personal profile, of course, because you can have as many Instagram profiles as you want. The problem with it is that there is no way to link the two. So there's no way to say, I am Trent Kennelly, I am associated with Level Me Up. You are an Instagram profile for Trent Kennelly, and then you can have an Instagram profile for Level Me Up, and then you can put it in your profile description, oh, I'm related to this other profile, and that's it. It's not that great. There's no real connection there. Next, mindset. So what do I mean by this? I mean, how do they react to content that's put on the site? Instagram is, again, anything goes. People are gonna react to just about anything. You can put up business content, you can put up graphic design content, influencers, homes, your couch on a Friday night. Nobody cares. Whatever you want, it has a place. But it is very fashion forward. So ugly pictures like your couch on a Friday night are less likely to grab attention than something that's beautiful or eye-catching in that first 2 seconds. LinkedIn can be a little more stilted and strict in this way. So for instance, political posts will get very fierce responses on LinkedIn. But it's not that they're all gonna agree or disagree with you politically, it's that everybody's gonna say, this is not the place for this. What are you doing posting this on LinkedIn? Go to Facebook if you wanna do that. It's not about the subject, it's about how LinkedIn is a professional development focused place, not a place for you to talk about Thanksgiving or what you had for breakfast. Those status updates don't work on LinkedIn. You need to think about things from that professional perspective, which means that you need to think about how you would act at work. When you're sitting in front of the water cooler, what are you joking about? You can joke about that. Of course you can joke on LinkedIn. Everybody thinks that you can't, that it's this, suit and tie, nobody tells jokes, FBI sort of place. But it's just inside humor. It's just a different type of humor. It's just a question of how you're doing it. Is this with a development mindset? Is this with a professional mindset? Just keep that water cooler in mind. Last area I want to talk about is the speed of growth. Now, obviously you want to grow as fast as possible, but that looks very different from platform to platform. Instagram, you need a clear plan. There are so many people on this platform that it's really hard now to break through. Plus, there's a lot of maintenance on your followers. You have to remove ghost followers, which are those people that haven't interacted with your content maybe in a year, and they're not even posting on their own profiles, so they're just gone, but their profile's still active. You need to get rid of those because they're hurting your exposure. You need to always be interacting with your followers. You need to have stories up all of the time. You can't follow for follow. You shouldn't do that anyway. It's not good for you, but people are always trying to follow for follow with you, which means that you're always getting new followers and then losing them again. So it's just kind of a pain in that way. But the interaction will always improve and will always cause your growth. So it's important to do that, and you will grow as a result of it. LinkedIn, on the other hand, has a much smaller base of people. It's still a huge potential market, but it's a lot smaller by a large margin than Instagram is. So because of that, it's statistically easier to win on this platform. It's still possible to make a post and have it go viral very easily. And the amount of time that it can go viral is much longer, up to 90 days on LinkedIn. This is significant because it allows more people to see your post, which increases your exposure over a much longer period. It also means that content freshness is not as vital on LinkedIn as it is on Instagram. Engagement tactics like commenting on posts and interacting with people through messages works really, really well here. And in fact, I would argue works way better because you might get the same number of followers between Instagram and LinkedIn when you're interacting a lot, but the LinkedIn followers stay and the Instagram followers don't. So hopefully that gives you a clearer idea on which one of these you should choose from. Let me know if that was helpful and which one of those you prefer. I can tell you that I'm on both and I find LinkedIn easier than Instagram, but I think that growth is really important on both of these for me and for my business. So let me know how that is for you. I would love to know. Otherwise, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I'll catch you in the next one.